Hello students, I am Professor Awais Ahmed Hussaini, working as Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department at Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Yadgaon. So students, in last video we already discussed how to use that particular steam table for saturated condition. Also we discussed various properties of steam along with their steam generation. So in last lecture we discussed two detailed information regarding with saturated water and steam table by using that temperature parameter, and second we already discussed that saturated water and steam table by using pressure as a parameter. Now the remaining 2 points are that superheated steam table and supercritical steam table. So mostly in case of that steam power plant, the requirement of the steam is superheated. So generally the steam is when the steam is in wet condition, then its dryness fraction is less than 1. When the steam is saturated, means if there is no any kind of the moisture content present in it, then the value of the dryness fraction is 1. And similar way, when we heat that saturated steam beyond temperature or at more temperature, then it become that superheated steam. So we must have to study that superheated steam where it is needed exactly. So in case of the large capacity power plant where the requirement of the high temperature and high pressure, at that time it is mandatory to produce the high heated or high temperature steam, that is superheated steam. So here there is one separate table is there related with the superheated steam. In the steam table, this steam table related with the temperature is more than that 300 degrees centigrade also. So these tables contain the value of the specific volume, specific enthalpy as well as specific entropy. So we will get all three values as that of the same as that of that particular saturated condition, but here the requirement of the temperature and pressure is it must be high or near about more than 300 degrees centigrade. So it should be called as that superheated steam. So here we will get three values, that is first is that specific volume for a superheated steam. Also we will get that specific enthalpy for superheated steam, as well as we will get that specific entropy for that superheated steam. So students, we must have to know that the superheated steam from absolute pressure so is in between the range of that 0.02 bar to 221.2 bar, that is critical pressure at various temperature from 100 degrees centigrade to 800 degrees centigrade. So this is the limit in this table. The value of the specific volume, specific enthalpy and specific entropy of the steam are directly read from the concerned table. However, the value at any other pressure or temperature not mentioned in the table is obtained by interpolation method. So suppose we have to calculate the specific volume, specific enthalpy and specific entropy for temperature around 321 degrees centigrade. So in steam table that 300 degrees centigrade is available, and after that directly 350 degree available. So by that trial and method arrangement, or that with the help of that interpolation method, we can find out the in between values of enthalpy, entropy as well as specific volume. So also student, the next important thing is that supercritical steam table. These tables also contain the value of specific volume, specific enthalpy, specific entropy of supercritical steam from the absolute pressure is in between the range 250 bar to 1000 bar at various temperature. So when we heat that superheated steam, definitely its temperature and pressure goes on increases and it will convert it into supercritical temperature. So the range of the pressure of the supercritical pressure is in between that 250 bar to 1000 bar at various temperature from more than 400 degrees centigrade to 800 degrees centigrade. So here in case of the supercritical steam table, the pressure is high as compared with the temperature. So in this table also the value of the specific volume, specific enthalpy and specific entropy of a steam is directly read from the concerned table. However, the value at any other pressure or temperature which is not mentioned in the steam table is obtained by interpolation method or with the help of that trial and error methods. So here another important point of the steam table, at last there is one big chart is there. The name of that chart is Mollier chart. So this chart will helpful for you to find out the values of the enthalpy, entropy, as well as volume with minimum efforts. So there is no any need of the formula to calculate that all those values. With the help of that Molear chart, you directly get those values with less efforts. So it is graphical representation of the steam table in which specific entropy is plotted on the x-axis. So student, the specific entropy, that is value of S, is on x-axis, and the value of specific enthalpy, that is H, is mentioned on the y-axis. The diagram is divided into two portions. So upper half portion is related with that dry steam, or below portion of that dark line, that is saturated line, is supposed to be wet region. Once again, I will give the information about that Molear chart. On when you see that particular Molear chart in your steam table, then there is a one long thick line which is available at the middle position of that Molear chart. On x-axis there is a value of the specific enthalpy, and on sensible entropy, and on y-axis there is a value of specific enthalpy, and there is a one middle line is there, that is thick black line is there. The name of line, that particular line, is saturated line. The value of the dryness fraction is 1, so that is x is equal to 1 for that particular dark black thick line, and the region above that the thick line is known as the dry region, and the region below that saturated line is supposed to be wet region. And definitely the dryness fraction of the line which is the lines which is below from that saturated line is always less than 1. So you will get the idea about that dryness fraction, which varies from that 0.99 to 0.34 up to. Okay, so here it will give the idea about the representation of the values of the dryness fraction lines. Dryness fraction lines, these are the lines which is available below the saturated lines, and it is a parallel line of that saturated line, so which is available at exactly below of that particular portion of that saturated line. So now another line is constant specific volume lines, constant pressure lines, and constant temperature lines. So these are most important lines in the Molear chart. So the main purpose of the Molear chart is to find out the values of the enthalpy as well as entropy. Simultaneously we can calculate the dryness fraction without any formula. So there is a one thick line at the middle section. The name of that line is saturated line. The region above that saturated line is called as dry region. The region below the saturated line is called as the wet region. The value of the dryness fraction is always less than 1 for that wet region, and where there are various 4 lines which is available in the Molear chart. The first is dryness fraction lines. These lines are parallel to the saturated lines which is available below the saturated line. Second one is that constant specific volume lines. Third one is a constant pressure lines, and fourth one is a constant temperature lines. So students, dryness fraction lines, these are the lines are drawn in the wet region only below the saturated curve, which represent the dryness fraction equal to unity for that saturated line, means x is equal to 1. These lines represent the condition of the wet steam between the various values of the enthalpy and entropy. The dryness fraction lines are slightly curved in horizontal direction. Now the next important line in the Molear chart is constant specific volume line. So these lines are drawn in the both wet steam region as well as for that superheated steam region. These lines represent the specific volume of the steam between various value of the enthalpy and entropy. This is the most important thing, and most interesting thing is that these lines are straight in the wet steam line. Similarly, the below the saturation curve, but are curved upward in the superheated region, means above the saturation curve. So these lines are important while it is necessary to calculate that specific volume. At that time you can refer steam table as well as you can refer that Molear chart in order to find out these values. Now the next is that constant pressure lines. These lines are drawn in the both wet steam region and superheated steam region. These lines represent pressure of the steam between the various values of the enthalpy and entropy. The pressure lines are also straight in the wet steam line, that is below the saturation curve, but curved slightly upward in the superheated region. that is above the saturation curve. Now student, the next line is that constant temperature line. These lines drawn only in the superheated steam region, that is above the saturation curve. These lines represent the temperature of the steam between the various values of the enthalpy and entropy. The temperature lines are slightly curved in the horizontal direction. So now students, here you will get idea about how to calculate the values of the enthalpy as well as entropy for superheated. So here you will get idea. This is table number 3, which is related with the specific volume of the superheated steam. So the first column is absolute pressure, the second is that saturation temperature, and third one is the specific volumes, that is in meter cube per kg at various temperature in degree centigrade. Here you will get the temperature range from the 100 degree centigrade to 800 degree centigrade. On left hand side you will get the values of the pressure. On the next column is related with the saturation temperature. Suppose if you want to calculate the values of the specific volume at 300 degree centigrade for pressure 0.15 bar, then you just select the absolute pressure, that is 0.15 bar. Here there is one pressure table is there, or pressure column is there. Here 0.15 bar pressure is there, and corresponding to that 300 degree centigrade you will get the values of the 17.71. So 17.71 is the specific volume for that given pressure. Similarly, you can take example of that 1 bar pressure. Suppose pressure is given 1 bar and the temperature is around 500 degree Celsius. Then just select that 1 bar pressure from the first column, and you just go horizontal in that particular direction, and here you will get the value of 3.565. So here is the value of the 3.565. It is related with that 500 degree centigrade. So in this way you will get the value of the specific volume. Similar way, if you want to calculate the values which is not available in that particular table, suppose you just take example of the pressure is given around 1 bar. So here 0.1 bar is given in the problem, and the temperature is given 315. So in this particular case, with the interpolation method you can calculate the nearest values of that particular specific volume, and it can be in between that 300 to 350. So by trial and error method, also with the help of also that interpolation method, you can calculate those values. So now we will move further and we will talk about that specific enthalpy for superheated steam. So here you will get idea about how to calculate value of H, that is enthalpy for superheated temperature. So here in the problem, suppose you just take example here. In the problem, suppose they mention pressure is the 1 bar and temperature is around 250 degrees centigrade, and we must have to, and if they ask to calculate that specific volume, specific enthalpy, then you just pick the pressure that is 1 bar. Here is a 1 bar, this is the first column, and you just take the temperature range is between that 100 to 800 degrees centigrade, and suppose in the problem the 250 degrees centigrade temperature is given. So you just go in downward direction, and from 1 bar you just go horizontally, and you will get those values here, that the value of H is 2974.5. In this way you will get enthalpy directly without any calculation. So there is no need of the calculation of the sensible enthalpy and sensible entropy, also no need to calculate that dryness fraction here. Okay, so again here I take one more example. Suppose pressure requirement is 2, and in problem the temperature is given 400 degrees centigrade, and they asked to calculate the value of the enthalpy. Then just in first column find that pressure 2 bar. Here in last row here we will get the idea about the values of that 2 bar. Now just go horizontal and select that 400 degrees centigrade temperature, and at from 2 bar you just go horizontal, and here you will get the value that is 3276.7. So this is the value of the specific enthalpy for superheated steam. So students, here you will get idea. It is very easy to calculate that specific enthalpy, specific entropy and specific volume with the help of that steam table of superheated steam. But it is again very easy to calculate all those values with the help of Mollier chart. Our next session, our next lecture will be on only how to find out the values of the specific enthalpy and specific entropy as well as dryness fraction with the help of Mollier chart only. In first video we just covered how to calculate the values of the sensible enthalpy and sensible entropy for saturated steam. In this video we are discussing how to calculate the values of the specific enthalpy, specific entropy and specific volume related with the superheated steam, and our next video will be on how to calculate that all three values with the help of Mollier chart. So students, I just move further, and here another table is there, specific entropy of the superheated steam. Here we will get idea about the value of the entropy. Directly we will get the value of the S without any calculation of the specific enthalpy as well as that particular sensible entropy as well as that latent entropy. So here the first column is related with the pressure, second column is related with the saturation temperature, and here horizontal, that these are the temperature range from 100 to 800 degrees centigrade. This temperature range is for that superheated steam. This second column is but related with only saturated condition, and these all values are related with the specific entropy. These all values are related with specific entropy. Here we will consider 0.2 bar pressure and temperature is 200. So you just select that 0.2 pressure and that 200 degrees centigrade, you just go downward direction, and from point 2 you just go horizontally, and here you will get directly value of the specific entropy for superheated steam, and its value is 8.584. Similar way, you just take another example, that is 0.7 bar pressure is given in the problem and temperature is around 600 degrees centigrade. So that from that 0.7 you just go horizontally, and from that 700 degrees centigrade you just go in downward direction, and here you will get the values, that is 9.505. So this is the value of the specific entropy for that superheated steam. So in this way, with the help of that superheated steam table, you will get all three values of specific volume, specific enthalpy, specific entropy for superheated steam. So it is very easy to calculate those values as compared with the saturated condition. For saturated condition, we must have to consider all sensible values as well as latent values, but here there is no need of the finding that all values. Directly you will get the values of the specific enthalpy, entropy and specific volume. So thank you students. In this video we discussed points related with how to calculate the values of the sensible enthalpy, how to calculate the values of the specific enthalpy, specific entropy as well as specific volume related with the superheated condition. Now our next video will be on how to use the Mollier chart for calculation of the dryness fraction, enthalpy, entropy as well as specific volume. Thank you.